Idreessen Brown says he was sitting in his Minneapolis apartment 4 years ago watching a movie with his now wife when he heard pounding on the door.
I kept asking, who is it? And finally, by like the third time, they finally announced that it was police.
4 officers said they were responding to a call from a neighbor about a domestic dispute.
As soon as I opened the door, the officer grabbed me by the collar and snatched me out into the hallway, and he placed his arm under my neck like this, and he got upset and threw me down a flight of steps.
He threw you down a flight of stairs?
Yes.
He says the officers forced him into a squad car, but instead of taking him to jail, he says they brought him to an alley and beat him.
I thought I was going to die. I thought it was over. I thought I was never going to see my wife again. It was the scariest moment of my life.
He says the officers eventually dropped him off on the side of the road. He walked back home and called his local police precinct, then Internal Affairs, to file a complaint. Brown says he got a letter in the mail saying the complaint would be investigated, but it never was, according to police documents reviewed by NBC News. Eventually, he says he decided the process was stacked against him, so he didn't follow up.
It felt like there was nothing I can do. I felt like nobody cared.
Brown's complaint is on file with the Minneapolis Office of Police Conduct Review, which handles civilian complaints. But it was labeled an inquiry, which means the complaint wasn't signed or the investigator needed more information. NBC News found that 791 complaints were labeled inquiries since 2016, making up more than a quarter of citizens contacting the office during that period.
Are people abandoning the process? Do they just not feel safe? But that is a statistically significant amount, and you would want to know why.
NBC News spoke to 50 people who filed what they thought were complaints against Minneapolis officers that ended up being inquiries. Nearly half of them said they got no response at all. More than half filed by phone, and the majority say they were not told their complaint needed to be in writing. The Office of Police Conduct Review declined an on-camera interview, saying it could not comment on Brown's inquiry due to privacy laws, but typically it said inquiries are followed up with 2 phone calls and a letter or email. The Minneapolis Police Department wouldn't comment specifically on the case either. Of the nearly 18,000 police departments in the U.S., only about 165, including Minneapolis, have civilian oversight. But even with that oversight, Brown says he did not feel heard.
If the director of that agency was sitting with you right now, what would you say?
I would just ask him, how does a case like mine get buried or lost?
According to the police report, that 911 call came from a neighbor who said they heard a man and a woman arguing. NBC News tracked that neighbor down. That person lived 6 houses away and across the street.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.